The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN Wednesday morning, 8:30 a.m., 60 minutes to go until the opening bell, and we got markets in positive territory. We get some more vaccine news. This is, what would it be, the third day out of 8 that we've gotten vaccine news. Pfizer coming out last Monday, Pfizer and BioNTech. This Monday, 2 days ago, you had Moderna news. Today, you have Pfizer reaffirming a full analysis of their study, talking about 95% effective as the final analysis for their vaccine and should be submitted to the FDA in days. The markets higher on that news. S&P's right now up about 8 points, trading at 36.15. The Dow futures up 123, 29,843. NASDAQ up by 19 points as well, 11,994. You got the Russell positive by 4 points, 1796. Commodity-wise, crude higher as well, up 63 cents at 42.29. We were almost with a 39 handle to end last week. It's been upward territory this week. The highs on last Wednesday, 43.06. We'll get inventory numbers for crude oil 2 hours from right now, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Gold contract backing off a bit, off $13 at $18.72. Silver off 21 cents this morning, $24.43. And pretty muted response on bonds. We're dealing with a 10-year yield right now, pulling it up 0.854%. Quite the rebound that we have had. You put this even back, talking about an hourly, 20 days. You see the slide we had to 137.08 last week. We've climbed from there. You're up about 2 ticks this morning at 138.11 on the 10-year. The 30-year up 18 ticks at 173.04. And we'll jump over to the VIX this morning as this market just continues to show strength. Vaccine news continues to come down the line. It all looks good. Pfizer even upping the ante, right? They were at 90%, I believe. They're at 95% in the final analysis. Monday, 2 days ago, we had Moderna. They were talking about 94.5%. The Moderna one can be stored in a regular refrigerator for 30 days. The Pfizer, BioNTech vaccine, that needs to be cold stored. A little bit more difficult logistically, but jumping over to those stocks this morning, as you may expect, Pfizer up by more than $1 from 36.04 to 37.09. BNTX, BioNTech, they're higher as well from 86 to 92. You see them drop out of bed when the news of the Moderna vaccine came out because they may not be the best guy on the block. There's the Moderna chart, spiking higher on their news, backing off a bit this morning. These are all going to come out, I believe. You know, they're all going to get approved. They're all going to try and get produced. It's going to be quite an effort. The more the merrier, to kind of put it, right? As in, get them all out there. If they're all 94% effective, it really doesn't matter which one you're going to take as long as they're all effective, they're safe. The Pfizer vaccine. Let's jump over to the headline. There it is. Pfizer, BioNTech planned filing as vaccine proves 95% effective. The headlines in here, 44,000 participants, and they're going to be applying for the U.S. regulatory authorization for the shot within days. It protected people of all ages and ethnicities. No significant safety problems so far. You're talking about 44,000 participants. Even if you're splitting that up in the placebo, I'm not sure how it does go down in terms of the percentage. Maybe it's 50-50, getting placebo, getting the vaccine. You're still talking about tens of thousands of people in that study. I believe the Moderna one had about 30,000. So that is an update with the final number. 170 trial participants contracted COVID-19 overall. 8 participants who got the vaccine fell ill. 162 cases among the placebo. Quite a difference, right? So you consider, you vaccinate a large population. Instead of getting 162 cases, you're talking about 8 cases. Pretty remarkable, the difference. 1/20th the caseload is one way to put it. 95% effective. There you go. The shot helped to prevent severe disease, according to the analysis. 9 of 10 severe cases in the trial occurring in the placebo. So It seems to match up pretty well. We just got to get it out there. Efficacy in people older than 65 was more than 94%. You're going to see those high-risk people getting the shot first, as they should. First-line responders, doctors, nurses, police officers, firefighters, anybody in that first line, people, nursing homes, etc. So great news overall for the vaccine. The market, at this point, folks, we have a 95% vaccine from 2 different companies, it looks like. We just got to get it out. So the market, I'm bringing it back to the market should be factoring this in now, okay? We're talking about 2 different vaccines. We have more coming down the line. They're 95% effective. There's been no adverse effects. They affect all populations. The end is on the horizon. 3, 6, 9, 12 months is what I said yesterday. 12 on the very, very long end, I would imagine. Hopefully, we get this thing out ASAP. We get people in terms of the people most affected, right? Nursing homes, elderly, people at high risk, people in the first line, people coming into contact with various individuals. You get that out there. This economy could be back open in 3 months, 6 months. Hopefully we make that happen. But for the time being, why not jump over it? It's a tough period, folks. Stay safe out there. Because these numbers, we're talking about hospitalizations. I was looking at this morning, setting records, okay? You're talking about hospitalizations. We're at 76,000. I'm just going to compare it real quick to bring people into fruition, because we're in a serious period of fatigue with this virus, and we're coming into Thanksgiving, Christmas, the holidays. So keep the crowds to a minimum if you can. Life is short. You got to hang with your family. You got to do what's important. That's for sure. But these numbers, we're talking about 76,000 hospitalizations and almost 15,000 in the ICU. And when you're talking about on ventilator, we're talking about 4,000, okay? I'm just going to go back a month. November 17th, you go back to October 17th, we were dealing with basically numbers in halves, 37,000 to 7,000 and less than 2,000 on a ventilator. Right now, we're over 4,000 on ventilators, ICUs at almost 15,000, hospitalizations 76,000. So the caseloads matter, folks. Be careful out there, because these vaccines, pretty amazing news that we find out the end is near. I mean, the last 8 days ago, we had no idea if the vaccines are going to be 50%, 60%, 70% effective. We get that news, and the market taking it in stride, and we got all the indices. Higher territory this morning. The S&P's backing off a bit here from 745, but we're still at about 3614. You see the acceleration higher overnight. Jumping over to other stories we have going on. Got to talk about Boeing. So the 737 MAX, it is cleared to fly as the FAA lifts the U.S. grounding. So the 737 MAX can safely return to the skies with an extensive package of fixes. The U.S. regulators ruled after a scarring, as they put it, 20-month hiatus prompted by a pair of fatal crashes. Pretty unfortunate, the loss of life in this company, that those 2 plane crashes it took to figure out that basically the plane was just broken and was diving into the ground by itself. You got to back this up. The time frame we've been dealing with here, you're talking about going back to March of 2019. We're almost at 2 years. And Boeing, they were going to be able to get over this hump. You're only going from 446 down to, 350 or change. The drop-off was really when airlines just stopped existing in the world because of COVID. You're back to 210, though. That is quite a pop. And we're talking about in the start of November, you had a price tag of 143, and you're trading at 223 this morning. So you're talking about more than 50% pop since those lows, as Boeing, they get the 737 MAX back. They got vaccines. The airline's trading higher. We got a big day. We got Target. We got Lowe's to go over with their earnings. We'll be right back, folks. Stay tuned.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. The printing presses are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The U.S. deficit has risen 200% in 1 year with no end in sight. The markets are looking for an additional stimulus bill to get us through this once-in-a-generation pandemic. There is no free lunch, folks. The more stimulus dollars put into the marketplace, the less your dollar is worth each and every day. This is the time to protect yourself with a portion of your portfolio in the metal market. The Gold Report comes out each Monday morning. I bisect and dissect the dollar, silver, gold, the XAU, and the HUI. The Gold Report is a long-term hedge against the dilution of your buying power. The U.S. has put more than $6 trillion into the marketplace in the last 6 months, with more expected in the next few months. The market did and does need the stimulus, but it will have long-term implications on our buying power. The Gold Report comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go to TFNN.com and order the Gold Report now. Protect your buying power. Order the Gold Report now.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. We have markets in positive territory, giving back a few of the points. S&P is positive by 5 right now. You get the NASDAQ positive by 8, Dow positive by 94, Russell holding on to gains by a point or two. Got to chart a Target up here. Target out with their numbers today. Strong numbers this morning, spiking to a high of 168.30, backing off a bit. Their conference call beginning about 40 minutes ago at 8 a.m. Eastern time in terms of what they had to say for their numbers. Target crushes estimates, as they put on CNBC. New shopper habits to gain market share. Curbside pickup service grew more than 500%, and its home delivery service shipped was up nearly 280. Looks like they're firing on all cylinders right now in a world where everybody's ordering everything online. The company said it grabbed market share across all of its core categories, from apparel to beauty. Year to date, it said it won $6 billion in market share, with $1 billion in share gains coming during the latest quarter. Let's see. There they are. How about earnings per share? $2.79 versus $1.60. How about beating to the tune of about $1.7 billion additional revenue? 22.63 versus 20.93. Same-store sales, 20.7%. The market was only looking for 11.2. Folks, you really got to crush it out of the park with some of these stocks that have benefited during the restrictions to trade higher on earnings, because you are currently up $3.50. You're up 2% on Target this morning. And man, you got to be frustrated if you were looking for some big numbers, because they don't get much bigger than this. All right. This is not comparing it to a year ago. This is comparing it to the consensus of analyst estimates. $2.79 versus $1.60, 22.6. In this one, 20.7% same-store sales versus 11.2. I think Home Depot yesterday had same-store sales about 24.6%. The expectation was for 19%, and Home Depot traded lower on those. So pretty remarkable. Total revenue grew 21%. More frequent trips. Some retail rivals had to shutter, but Target's nearly 1,900 stores remained open. Customers shop more frequently with Target in the third quarter, and when they did, they put more in their baskets. The company said combined transactions in stores on its website up 4.5% year over year, and the average ticket grew 15.6% in the quarter. Now, you got to consider the first quarter when COVID was first coming, right? So I'm talking about March. mid-April as everybody was stocking up. There was a real lockdown. I had a couple of different grocery trips myself that were to the tune of $400, maybe $500, right? You really stocked up. You went once just when nobody knew anything about what's going on. Not quite the case in the 3 months that this quarter is talking about, but still they increased their ticket price to the tune of 15.6% per person. Pretty remarkable. Plans to grow beauty, apparel, nonetheless, strong numbers for Target, and they are trading higher. You could have seen some bigger prices than that, though. To put this thing in some context, though, you better deliver. When you just traded from $90 to $163, the all-time high of $167, we're going to be right near that number this morning. Pre-COVID, you were at about pre-COVID, you were at about 118, excuse me. Last year, you had about 130 to end the year, but $90 to 165. I mentioned Home Depot, so they're trading a little bit lower this morning, but just to bring it back, I mean, this was their action on a really, really strong quarter for themselves. We had Walmart numbers out as well, strong numbers, but pulling back because of the gains they had. So we talked about Target, and what else we have? We have Lowe's. Not quite giving up what the market was looking for. This is what you're seeing, folks. If you deliver the world, you're trading up 1% to 2%, if not trading down slightly. If you miss, watch out. You might drop $10 in a heartbeat. Lowe's, getting into their numbers, earnings fall despite robust sales gain. So getting into the numbers, earnings per share, they missed by a penny, and revenue, they beat by $1 billion. Did you hear what I just said? Because that's what their chart looks like. Earnings, they missed by a penny. Revenue, they beat by $1 billion. Now, there's more going on than there, of course. Net income fell to $692 million, or 91 cents a share, from $1.05 billion, or $1.36 a year earlier. Sales rose $22.3 billion from $17.39 a year earlier. Same-store sales, how about this one? 30.1%, topping an estimate for 22.8% growth. I mean, long-term, these companies, Tom and I talked about it on the program at 10 o'clock yesterday, right? You're going to see some pain in some of these companies when the economy opens back up. They benefited greatly during the restrictions, during everybody refinancing and redoing their home, buying a second home, spending more money to outfit the second home because you're spending more time there, right? Look at Lowe's. It was a triple bagger, folks. Exactly a triple bagger, from 60 to 180. All right, you came into earnings at about 160, but again, just be careful if you're playing some of these earnings. I mean, we had a trade in Home Depot for their earnings, and I love this company, and I was bullish this company, but I'm not going to be the one paying for options premium to the bullish side for some of these equities when it's already priced in that they've crushed the world. You know, everybody knows that Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, and Target, and Amazon are benefiting greatly during the time of restrictions where people are redoing their houses, stocking up on goods, ordering online, etc. And so what we did is that we sold what do we sell? Yeah, a call spread at 285 to 287.50. We sold a call spread because I said, listen, it's going to be really hard for this company to plow higher, even though they got good numbers, right? We might have some rising yields coming. Everybody's already refinanced. If they were thinking about refinancing, putting some money into their house, the lockdown restrictions have come to be. There's going to be a basing out for these stocks that have done so well. Doesn't mean they have to dramatically trade lower, but you can't have all the stocks that have been pummeled. You know, talking about the airlines, now I pull up American, they're one of the worst airlines to take a look at. They are the weakest. You know, like Delta, right? But for some context, Delta, you're seeing these stocks start to rise after they got pummeled. Just Boeing, for example. Well, why haven't you started to see all of these companies that have benefited greatly pull back a bit? It's because they might just base out. They're going to take some time, you know, Lowe's, Home Depot. But getting back into it, Lowe's, for their numbers, again, strong numbers across the board. Sales in all of Lowe's merchandising departments rose over 15%. Regional sales climbed more than 20%. Just remarkable action all over the place. It invested $45 million in COVID-related support for the frontline hourly associates. In the first 9 months of the year, added costs tallied $1.1 billion. So the market's looking at some costs. They are. It makes sense. Similar action with Home Depot. They talked about $1 billion they were going to spend on their employees as well, weighing on them a bit. But strong companies in the long run, folks. If you're looking for any of those, Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, Target, you're all set. Buy it, forget it. And 10, 20 years down the line, We're creatures of habit. Everybody's come to love their home a little bit more than they had prior. Doesn't mean we might not be home for a period of 3 or 6 months once this economy opens back up. We got to check in on Amazon. Amazon shares. Let's get that Fibonacci off there. Pretty muted. They came out with their prescription medication announcement yesterday that they're going to be offering prescriptions, discounts via Amazon Prime. You're backing off a bit, 31.43 so far this morning. And let's see what else we got going on. Mortgages demand from home buyers surges after an election pause. Speaking of housing, mortgage applications to purchase home rose 4% for the week. Volume was a decisive 26% higher annually. And we're going to look at Apple when we come back as well. Apple, they're going to cut the App Store commissions by half to 15% for smaller app makers, and housing starts coming out at 8:30, 1.53 million versus 1.46. We'll be right back, folks.
Back in the day, I joined Hotel California in 2006, and like many of you, was drawn in by, as well as...
Whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows.
You see, I believe that everything in life happens for us, not to us. And Tom ignited the fire within me to want to learn how to master the markets. So how did I go from knowing nothing about technical analysis to becoming the #1 market timer for the S&P 500 in 2018 and the #2 market timer in 2019? Simply put, I hired coaches with a proven track record, which led me to a whole new set of tools that I created to interpret the message of buyers and sellers. I would love the opportunity to teach you this award-winning set of tools and to help you improve your market timing. You can test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probabilities, for the next 30 days with no risk to you. Plus, you'll gain access to archive workshops that'll take you step-by-step through my system. Sign up today by going to the homepage of TFNN.com and selecting Mastering Probability in the newsletter tab.
Bam! If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Introducing Primal Edge.
Today, it's even more important to take a supplement that complements your health. Primal Edge is specifically formulated to boost your immune system and help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Our early ancestors found all their nutritional requirements in the wild environment. But today, our food sources don't contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that we need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based, vitamins, minerals, fatty and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated humic and fulvic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, without them, life cannot exist.
That's right, Ellen. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, just $89, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Well, welcome back, folks. We got the markets just hanging in positive territory. S&P is positive by 8, NASDAQ positive by 14. Jumping back to what they mentioned, so 15% for smaller app makers, up to basically doing $1 million on their platform. After that, they'll start charging you 30%. This is in addition to the fact that I believe after you stay on for the second year or longer of recurring payments, they take a smaller fee as well. Seems like Apple trying to build a case already to make sure that they can say to a judge, Listen, Your Honor, we're doing everything we can for things to be competitive here because a 30% fee for some of those smaller app makers, just a lot of money to give up to Apple. Nonetheless, we'll see how that plays out. Apple in the headlines. And what else we got going on, folks? A big day tomorrow for our man Basil Chapman. Great time to do it. We're making new highs in the market. Talk about peaks. The Chapman Wave methodology. Basil's going to be doing an all-day live webinar tomorrow from 9 a.m. till 4:30 p.m. He'll be in there for a half hour before the market opens, getting ready for the open. 3-hour session in the morning, 9 till noon. There'll be a lunch break. 3-hour session in the afternoon, 1 till 4. Then, of course, a follow-up review and prepare for the next day's trading session from 4 till 4:30 at the end of the day tomorrow. The technical tools based on the Chapman Wave methodology explained live, a detailed all-day online course. You gain access to his opening call, $128 value right away, $295. That will be archived. You can watch it as many times as you like, folks. I encourage you to check it out. Basil, he's a great trader. He's also a great educator. He really does a great job walking everybody through what he's doing, how he's doing it, the methodology, so that you leave this course and you're ready to go on your own. Check that out. It'll be tomorrow. And we got a treat, too. I believe we have Mr. Basil Chapman covering next for Larry Pesavento, if I'm correct. So you'll get to open the market with him today, and then sign up for Basil's course. You'll be in there to open the market with him tomorrow as part of that methodology class. All right, S&P's positive by 7, NASDAQ positive by 11. What else do we have? NIO, the car maker, they were out with their numbers last night. Looks like they're going to open about flat, and we'll check in on some of the stocks moving as we wrap it up. Boeing continuing to trade higher. The Dow's up 121 now. Target shares, they are higher as well, and Lowe's at 149. Stay tuned, folks. I believe we got Basil Chapman coming up live next at TFNN. We'll be right back.